Welcome back to the Cards of Cthulhu with the Beyond the Veil expansion. So far we've been kicking some Cthulian butt, but yeah, I'm sure that will change. Alright, so nothing's on the Yog-Sothoth board. We have a poison trap waiting at Arwasa for a cultist or minion to show up and take care of it. A couple minions on Nyarlathotep board, nothing on Cthulhu, and only one minion on the CF board. Alright, let's get zoomed down, and we will begin this episode. Alright, so of course the first thing we do is we draw 4 cards plus any open gates, but we do not have any gates. So we just have 4 cards, and what do we have? Well, we have a 2 dice Nyarlathotep horror. Okay, now we're getting interesting. So that goes out on the board. We have a cultist leader on Nyarlathotep. That's 3 minions now on Nyarlathotep. We have a 3 dice Cthulhu minion. That's not good. And we have a Bayaki. Unfortunately, well, I guess whatever. It is what it is. We have the poison trap out on Arwasa. This is an Arwasa minion. Immediately play on any cult board. So we did that. When you place the next minion on that board, you discard this card and the minion. So the Bayaki was taken out by our poison trap. So that takes care of that. I wish it would have been a much stronger minion, but hey, random card draw. All right, so following in order, reactivate followers. Well, we would have done that right at the beginning. We drew the cult cards. It is purchase time. We have nothing to buy. Place cult powers. We didn't draw any cult flowers. Any flowers. No, we didn't draw any flowers either. Cult powers, so we don't place those. Awaken horrors. Well, indeed. We have 3 cultists on the Nyarlathotep board, and we have a 2 dice Xananoth we have a horrible looking thing. A 2 dice combo monster. It is now awake and ready to snack on our sanity. Alright, and then of course we go into sanity loss. Now, can deal with it in a bunch of different ways. We have the Elder Sign, which we could discard to just negate any sanity loss from one attack. Or we could kill one of our followers, which I don't want to do. Or we can just give up the 2 experience because it's a 2 dice horror for sanity. And I think we're going to do that since we have 10 experience. Now we have 8. Okay, and we also have this card which we saved, which we should have been using the save function on investigations all along. Discard any 1 horror, but discarding a 2 dice horror, not the best use of this card. We'll wait till we get something really nasty. So now it is time to attack a board, and I think let's have a look at the Nyarlathotep board. I think we're going to take that on right now. Alright, so Nyarlathotep board looking pretty nasty. It's got 3 minions, a cultist leader, a deep one, and a cultist. But the 2 dice combo horror monster is protecting the minions. The minions would have been protecting it if it was sleeping. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to attack that. We're going to go ahead and use our Sword of the Crusader, and that gives us 1 free white spirit die in the attack, and we're also going to spend 1 of our experience to get another white dice. We're going to have 2 white dice plus our regular dice, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll and attack Nyarlathotep. So let's give it a go. Okay, rolling the bones. Let's see if we can take out those cultists. But of course we have to take out the 2 dice combo minion or monster first, because minor horror, because it is protecting the cultist. So let's see what we get. And we got a 5 on the red die. I should mention if we had a 2 or 1 on the red die, we would take a wound, but we don't. Alright, so we have a 6, a 2, a 2, and a 3. And that is, actually that's exactly what we need. So we're not going to re-roll anything. So let's take a look here and see. Oh, we're not doing those first. We're going to do the 2 dice minor horror first. So we either need a pair of like numbers, which we have 2 2s, or we could use a 2 3. But I'm going to use the 2 2s. And that takes care of the minor horror. And that's going to give us 2 experience points. And then we have the cultist leader we can knock out with our 5. We have the deep one we can knock out with our 6. And then lastly on the board, we have a cultist, which we can knock out with a 3. So boom, we've wasted everything on the Nyarlathotep board. So we're going to get 2, 3, 4, 5 experience points for that. And there we go. We're up to 12. And of course, we don't want to leave it there. We want to attack once more. So we're going to cast the Hurry spell, 2 experience, and we're going to attack again. So let's take a look at what board we're going to attack. Yeah, it would appear that on the Cthulhu board, we have 1 sleeping 3 dice minion, and we're going to go ahead and tackle it. Now, of course, when it's sleeping, if we roll a 1 on the red die, we would take a wound. Normally, if it was awake, and we rolled a 1, 2, or 3 on the red die, we would take a wound. So we're just going to not get any extra dice. We're just going to go ahead and roll our 3 dice, because any 3 dice are going to knock him out, take him out. And let's not roll a 1 on the red die. So let's go to the dice tray and take out that sleeping horror. All right, sleeping horror of Cthulhu. Let's see if we can knock you out and not roll a 1 on the red die. Excellent. We roll a 2 on the red die. So we have a pretty low roll, but it doesn't matter because any 3 dice combination will take out a sleeping horror. This is a 3 dice. And so with that, that's going to get us 3 experience. So we now have 13 experience, and that's going to be the end of the turn. Of course, let's do a few more. All right, so we have 13 experience. Of course, we'll refresh our used items, and we didn't use any follower abilities, which we probably should have done. I probably should have used the researcher since we had so many experience points. Let's probably use her this time. However, I didn't. No open gates. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. Try to keep that in mind for this turn. All right, 4 cards. Well, we get a gate on the Cthulhu board immediately, which means we immediately draw another card. Well, we have a couple of investigations this time. Wow, and 2 more minions on the Cthulhu board. All right, nothing to purchase, so we're not going to bother with that. We are going to take a look at these 2 dangers and see what they are and how we're going to deal with them. So we have the Sewers of Arkham. You discover its lair. The twisted walls flow together in ways undreamed of by any sane architect, and there within you ghoulish, gore-covered creature. You find a ghoulish. Okay. It's an investigate, so we need a 10. The danger is a 1, so it's not much of a danger. Save, discard any 3 minions if there are 13 or more minions in play. Not even close. But again, we can save this card for later. If we don't do it during the next turn, all minions have +3 value. Then discard this card. Now we can ignore this and pump up all minions to be +3 on the next turn. But I think we're probably going to investigate that one. Let's have a look at the other one. Whisperings of Innsmouth. On the night of the full moon, you see a gathering of locals next to the crashing waves. Keeping to the shadows, you creep forward. So this danger is a little higher. It's a 2. Draw and discard 7 cult cards. Otherwise, draw 2 extra cult cards next turn. Discard any followers, items, or investigations drawn. Then discard this card. Again, let me think about that, and I'll come back with what I want to do with it. All right, I have decided. Herbert West is going to do... We're going to do the Whisperings of Innsmouth. So basically, we're going to ignore this one, which means next turn after this one, all minions are going to have a +3 value. So we're just going to put that over here where I will probably forget about it. But try to remember, next turn, all minions +3. So we're going to use Herbert West. We get, for our Gumshoe ability, we get a free die. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use the roll 1 spirit die free each turn. So we're going to go ahead and give Herbert West the sword to give us another die, because I want to make sure we get this. That's a 9. So we're going to make sure that happens. And so we're going to be rolling 3 dice. Let's roll a Herbert dice first. If he rolls a 1 or 2, unfortunately, he will be eliminated. He rolls a 6. He is awesome. All right, and the other 2, of course, don't really matter, but we don't want to roll snake eyes or we will not win the investigation. A 2 and a 4, so easily done. We get a 12, and of course it is draw and discard 7 cult cards. So let's just go ahead and do that. So we'll take the top of the deck, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and yeah, there's a lot more cards than that. And so these are going to be drawn and discarded no matter what they are. So we discard, oh man, a follower. That's lame. and we discard a deep one is good. Amigo, a Cthulhu Power. Got rid of that card. Got rid of an investigation. We get rid of a gate and another gate. So that was a pretty good investigation to do. So all those cards are discarded. And I don't think we get experience for discarding them off of that. But let me check the rules on that. So that was basically investigation. So Herbert West is used up. And let me check the rule on that, and we'll get back to the rest of this turn. All right, from what I gather, because it is discarded, we would not get the experience point for that one follower that got discarded in the big 7 cards we dumped out. So we're not going to get an experience for that. And likewise, if you discard a gate, you don't get experience if you discard anything. And discarding basically means you're getting rid of stuff. All right, we're not finished with this turn yet by a long shot. I am going to spend 3 experience points for a researcher here. And we're going to use her power, which is discard any cult power. So we're going to take 3 experience, paid, and we're going to use her ability to get rid of a power. And so we're going to get rid of the red board, the Arwasa power, which is add 1 value to the minions on this cult board. So that disappears. All right, that was once. Now we still haven't attacked any boards yet. And so I'm going to go right here, and we're going to use the Necronomicon, which means we're going to spend 2 experience, giving us 3 back, to discard any gate. And discard, again, we don't get experience, but boom, we get rid of it. It is no longer bothering us. And we are going to go right ahead, and we're going to attack the Cthulhu board. I'm just going to use my regular set of dice, and that is going to be that. So let's go to the dice tray and roll up for those 2, a 4 and a 2. We have a cultist and a deep one. All right, rolling for the cultist and the deep one. Let's not roll a 1 on the red die. We roll a 5, a 6, and a 6. Wow, this is unreal. I usually lose at this game, I'm telling you. So the deep one, we crush with a 6. And the cultist, we crush with another 6. No problem at all. It's going to give us 2 experience points. So we're going to get 2 more experience, back up to 10. And you know what? Just to be ridiculous, I'm going to spend the 2 experience, and we're going to do the hurry spell. And we're going to attack the only cultist left on the board. Let's not roll a 1. We roll a 5, 5, and a 6. So for our second attack, we just pile drive the cultist with his tentacle head into the ground, and he is no more. That, of course, gets us another experience point. That's going to be end of the turn. And so let's go back, and now we have to remember that we skipped the 1 investigation. So now all minions during this turn coming up are going to have +3. All right, let's go back and draw 4 cards. Okay, so next turn, all minions are going to get +3. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 cards off the top. Wow, we're getting through the deck. Believe it or not, 4 cards. All minions all the time. All right, a minion for Cthulhu. We have 2 Amigo and a Lamp F's up on the Nyarlathotep board. So that's, we'll put the 2 of them out there. And we have a Lowly Cultist on the CF board. I've given up trying to pronounce that one. Maybe someone knows how to pronounce it, but I don't. All right, and off to the next turn. So all cultists have a +3 to them. So we're going to have a little bit of a tough fight. We had nothing to buy that turn. Of course, I refreshed all the cards. So purchase not happening. Place called powers. We didn't have any. Awaken horrors. We don't have any. Sanity loss. Not going to happen. Combat. So we just need to decide which board to tackle. And I think we're going to go for the toughest one. We're going to take on Nyarlathotep. He has a 7 and 6, which is going to be a 10 and a 9. And we get the 1 free white spirit die for the sword. So we're going to take our sword. We're going to spend 1 experience to get 1 more of these. And should we do 2 experience? Yeah, we need a 10 and a 9. So we're going to spend even 1 more experience. 3 dice. So we're going to be rolling a huge pile of dice against basically a 10 and a 9 on the Nyarlathotep board. Let's get at it. All right, we're rolling a lot of dice. And again, we don't want to see a 1 on the red one. We've been very lucky so far. And we get a 3. I think we've nailed it. We have 10 here. We have 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we didn't need all these dice. We didn't need them, but hey. +3 to minions, so that's a 10. Boom, it's killed. That's a 9, and we have 9 right there with dice left over. Didn't roll a 1, so we get rid of these 2 minions, even though they were +3 this time. And that card then, of course, will be discarded. And because we took out 2 minions, we're going to get 2 experience points. Now, we could spend 2 experience to attack again, but should we do that? I don't think we're going to... No, I don't think we're going to bother. We're going to let it slide this time. All right. Basically, we're going to be going on to the next turn. It'll be the final turn for this episode. All right, still no gates on the board. And we got rid of this card because we've done the turn with the +3 to the minions. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. And our last turn for the episode. What do we get? Well, let's do things in order. Draw cards. All right. Well, we get a Yog-Sothoth. Deep 1 out there. We get a 3 dice CF Horror. He's going to be sleeping. And we have a Cthulhu Power and a Cthulhu Deep 1. Appropriate. So the Cthulhu Power Horrors on this cult board awaken with 1 fewer minion. Put that beside the board there. I have a feeling we're going to be getting rid of that one pretty darn quick. All right, that takes care of that. Of course, we would be in the purchase phase. Nothing to purchase. It was all bad. Place cult powers. Okay, well, skipped ahead a little bit. We placed the cult power. Awaken horrors. Well, we have a 3 dice horror over on the CF board, but we only have 1 minion, so he is not going to awaken. Therefore, we will not suffer sanity loss. It is time now for combat. And I think even before we do any combat, we are going to take our researcher assistant. We're going to spend 3 experience points right now. And we're going to go ahead and discard the Cthulhu power. So easy come, easy go. Horrors are not going to awaken earlier on that board. All right, and now it is time to attack a board. So let's take a look and see which board we want to attack and how we want to do it. All right, well, we're going to take on the CF board, the Chagnar Fong, or however you pronounce it, board. We have 1 cultist protecting the 3 dice sleeping horror. We are using our Sword of the Crusader to give us 1 free white die. Of course, we have our regular dice. So that gives us 4 dice. Now, is that enough to take out the cultist in that? It most likely is. However, if we do roll a 1 on something, we're not going to be able to re-roll. So I'm going to spend 1 more experience just to make sure and get a spirit die. So we're going to be rolling 5 dice against this board. And again, we don't want to roll a 1 on the red. Whoa, as I throw it all the way across the table. Let's try that again. Doesn't count. All right, get it in the table, or in the tray. Well, there's our 1. So as a good thing, I rolled that extra die. So we have a 4. We're not going to take a wound. And so let's get rid of this protecting cultist. Boom. We're going to use a 3 on him. Gone. Well, I guess it didn't really matter. And we have a 3 dice sleeping horror, which gets destroyed by any 3 dice. Makes no difference. And we're finished. So that's going to give us 1 experience for the cultist and 3 for the sleeping horror, which we've destroyed. And that gives us 4 experience points. 2, 3, 4. And with the 4 experience points, indeed, we're going to spend 2 immediately. And we're going to take on the Cthulhu board. And we're just going to roll our regular dice. And we have a 5 cultist leader and a 4 deep 1. Let's see what we get. No 1s, please. And this time we do roll a 1. We cannot re-roll it. We have a 2 and a 4. Let's take the 2 and re-roll it. We get a 1. Ouch. Okay. Finally, my luck sucking a bit. Okay, how is this going to work? Well, we do have a 5 and a 4. So we're going to take the 5. The cultist leader with a 4 and 1. Destroys him. The deep 1's still kicking. We didn't have enough dice power to take him out. So we're going to get 1 experience for knocking out the cult leader. And we lose now 1 of our green dice, which is not what I wanted. But the solution to that is we can cast a spell called Healing, which costs us 3 experience. We're going to take the 5 and get 2 back and change. And that lets us heal to get our dice back. And now we're sitting at the end of the turn with 5 experience, and we have our full complement of dice again. All right, let's zoom out, take a look at the board, and that's going to be the end of the episode for today. All right, so 50,000 feet again. So the cult boards. Out on Yog-Sothoth, we have 1 deep one. Arwasa, wiped clean. Nyarlathotep, wiped clean. The CF board, annihilated. 1 deep one out here, swimming around in the Cthulhu waters. And I guess we can just sort of pan down a little bit here, take a look at what we have. We have 5 experience. We have the Necronomicon, which is awesome. We have the Sword of the Crusader. We have our assistant with her research ability. We have the Otherworldly Idol, slay a follower to discard any horror. Elder Sign, which is discard instead of sanity loss. And we have Herbert West, Reanimator. And that's going to be it for this episode, episode 6. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking the videos if you do. And I will just show you very quickly here right at the end what is left. This is what's left. It still looks like a mountain of cards. Probably somewhere in the, I don't know, 70 to 80 cards left. So we get through those. Have 4 or less cultists on the board and no horrors on the board. Minions, 4 or less minions on the board, no horrors on the board. We're going to win. We have 2 very powerful artifacts, the Necronomicon, the Sword of the Crusader, and that assistant power is also pretty awesome. So as long as we can keep our experience up, I think we've got a chance. So anyway, again, thanks so much. And join me next time for the continuation of the Cards of Cthulhu with the Beyond the Veil expansion.